KOTV 6, Tulsa. This is the News on 6, the 5 o'clock edition, with Glenda Sylvie, Robert Joffe, health reporter Wendy Burkeen, and meteorologist Mike Anderson.
A tornado warning is issued for Tulsa County after a tornado is spotted near Sand Springs. Good evening, I'm Robert Joffe.
And I'm Glenda Sylvie. The warning was issued just about 15 minutes ago. Meteorologist Jim Giles is standing by with more information. Jim?
Robert and Glenda, we have had a report of a funnel cloud sighted just west of Sand Springs. We've also had some very large hail reported by the Sheriff's Department over there. Within the past few seconds, very large hail near 66 and 33. Because of that sighting, that funnel cloud sighting and an indication on radar, Tulsa County is under a tornado warning, as mentioned, until 5:30. If you live in the Sand Springs area, far western parts of Tulsa County, or even the western part of the city of Tulsa, you should be advised that there is that potential for tornadoes. That storm is moving to the east at about 25 miles per hour. You can count on very large hail, damaging hail, better than golf ball size. Also strong damaging winds of 60, possibly stronger mile-per-hour winds as it moves into the area. And there's always that risk of tornadoes. We'll keep you informed and give you an update in just a few moments. Glenda?
All right, thank you, Jim. An airplane crash landing near Henrietta this afternoon sent at least 4 people to the hospital. A light plane was reportedly trying to make an emergency landing when it hit a power line. It then went down on the Indian Nation Turnpike south of Henrietta, causing 2 cars to crash. The plane then caught fire. A spokesperson at Henrietta Hospital says 4 people were brought in by ambulance. Their conditions are not known. Others are expected to come in for examination.
In other news this Friday, today, the Chinese government attempted again to break up the 6-week-long student protest going on in the main square in Beijing. These still pictures were taken as tens of thousands of troops marched in on the square, but thousands of students and citizens turned the soldiers back. Those supporting the students blocked the street with 4 trucks. There was some pushing and shoving between the troops and the students. The soldiers did not appear to be armed. The troops retreated and joined the more than 200,000 soldiers camped around the city.
Eastern Airlines, slowed by a strike since March, today announced more cost-cutting measures. Eastern will require non-union workers to work more hours for the same pay, cut management pay by 20%, and eliminate vacations for the rest of the year. Officials say the plan will help Eastern come through its bankruptcy reorganization. A government report released today indicates that the economy is slowing down. The Labor Department says job growth fell in May to the lowest level in more than 3 years. Unemployment is also down 0.1 of a percentage point to 5.2%. Some analysts say the report may be the evidence the Federal Reserve needs to show that inflation is under control and that it can ease interest rates.
The Tulsa County Sheriff's Department is beginning a crackdown on delinquent taxpayers. The county is trying to collect some $4 million in taxes. Most of that money is owed on personal property owned by businesses. Right now, the only way the county goes about collecting the tax money is by mailing warrants.
The Sheriff's Office, for perhaps staffing reasons or other reasons, hasn't been able to enforce the collection process that is called for in the statutes on that warrant. So there hasn't been a lot of effort to actually seize and sell the personal property to pay the taxes.
The Sheriff's Department admits delivering the warrants in person would be more effective, but there isn't enough manpower. The city of Tulsa is proposing a budget totaling more than $259 million for the next fiscal year. That's $13 million more than last year, but most of that money is for airport expenditures, which weren't in last year's budget. $3.5 million is budgeted for increasing health insurance costs for city employees.
9 months of homework and cramming for exams came to an end today as school bells rang in the beginning of summer vacation for Tulsa students. While students in upper grades may be more than ready to move on, Kim Graham tells us that some first graders aren't so glad to see the school year end.
Send my money.
First grade students at Patrick Henry Elementary School spent part of their day making sure their yearbooks were signed by every classmate. You won't find any special messages from one friend to another on any of these pages. Still, these youngsters know why each name is important.
Because I want to remember everybody.
Sorry, we need to interrupt our report and go to Jim for a weather update.
Thank you very much, Glenda. I want to show you Doppler 6 radar because it's showing winds of 70 and 75 miles per hour now blowing right through the heart of town. Right in the middle of your picture, you're seeing light to dark blue. The winds get stronger and stronger as we go through the reds and into the blues, 70 and 75 mile-per-hour winds pushing past the Sheridan Street area over to about 129th East Avenue, then gradually tapering off to about 40 miles to 50 mile-per-hour winds in the far western part of town. So the very strongest storms moving right through town with 70 and 75 mile-per-hour winds, certainly strong enough to do some damage. Glenda?
All right, thank you, Jim. And we're now going to restart Kim Graham's report on the last day of school for some first graders.
Hi, my mommy.
First grade students at Patrick Henry Elementary School spent part of their day making sure their yearbooks were signed by every classmate. You won't find any special messages from one friend to another on any of these pages. Still, these youngsters know why each name is important.
Because I want to remember everybody in my class.
Students and teachers wanted to savor their memories, including one last picnic at nearby Whiteside Park. Children laden with brown paper bags sat down to a big feast of their favorite foods.
I got salmon. I got chocolate chip. I got lucky banana. And I got, I think that's all. Yeah. I got dessert. I think that's all. I've got a big humongous pack of Cheetos, a banana, and a sandwich. Icy, Doritos, grapes, and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
While the peanut butter sandwich is a favorite on nearly every youngster's menu, no picnic is complete without Mickey D's Chicken McNuggets. The food and the games made for a perfect ending to the school year for this group of children, a day some weren't so willing to let go.
I don't want it to end. I like it.
What do you like so much about it?
Math.
Teachers will miss the children.
I miss the kids during the summer, miss all the enthusiasm, but of course I'm also looking forward to my rest during the summertime. So it's kind of a day of mixed emotions for all of us, I think.
And the same mixed emotions will be felt at the end of the next school year and the year after that. After all, school years are supposed to be some of the best years of your life. Kim Graham, Channel 6 News.
That's great.
Yes, they are. Now, you have a first grader. How was she
Our
feeling
first
about
grader,
today?
Kate, was more than ready to see the last
She
day
was.
of
She's
school
ready for
come.
summer.
Oh, you bet.
And Mom?
Sure, I'm ready.
Well, that's good. Well, still ahead, the end of a controversial chemical.
And it's off to the garden patch with a gardener guy to grow potatoes.
For water that's as clear as the sky, nothing simpler or more effective than HTH Dry Chlorinator. HTH is found in more pools than any other brand. It keeps your pool crystal clear and sparkling clean all summer long. HTH, for water as clear as the sky. Save up to $30 on HTH pool products, America's clear choice.
The following Get Well Games health tip is brought to you by KOTV Channel 6 and the Hillcrest Medical Center.
You may only be 35 years old, but you could be living in a 50-year-old body. Hello, I'm Dr. Kurt Coggins with Hillcrest Medical Center. Your chronological age and your body's physical age may not be the same. High cholesterol, body fat, and blood pressure are a few of the factors that can age your body beyond its natural years. Put your health to the test at the Get Well Games.
President Bush returned from a tour of Europe today, saying the NATO summit went well. Air Force One landed this morning at Pease Air Force Base in New Hampshire. Before Bush left for his vacation home in Maine, he delivered a message of hope. He said this is a period of historic change, offering a chance to shape Europe's future. The president will meet with his cabinet and congressional leaders Monday to talk about the success of the NATO summit.
The people who produce the chemical Alar are moving to end the controversy over the product. Uniroyal says it's discontinuing sales of the additive for food crop use. Consumer activists claiming Alar is a suspected carcinogen have pushed for a ban, especially among apple growers. Uniroyal says there's no evidence the chemical is unsafe, but the furor over it is confusing the public. Seems like the growing season just started, but Master Gardener Paul James says it's already time to harvest. Today we're going to dig potatoes with the gardener guy.
Today we're going to harvest what is hands down my favorite vegetable crop to grow, and without a doubt my favorite food to eat. It's Solanum tuberosum, more commonly known as the potato. Let's head for the potato patch and harvest a few for dinner. You'll know it's time to harvest the tubers, the botanical term for the potato itself, when the plant's blossoms have stopped flowering and the foliage has begun to wither, just as you see here. If you don't want to harvest the crop all at once, just dig a little at the base of the plant until you find a few good-sized tubers for dinner, then cover the hole up again. The small tubers remaining will continue to grow. But if you need to clear the entire area in preparation for another crop, simply stab a pitchfork into the ground about a foot from the base of the plant, turn the ground over, and gather all the tubers from the biggest to the tiniest to prevent another crop from coming up. When you're through harvesting, just toss the green tops, which by the way are very poisonous, into the compost heap. If you want to enjoy another crop real soon, try this little-known trick. Simply prune the top growth of the plant to about 8 or 10 inches, and in a few weeks you'll have yet another crop. The plant won't look like much, but in no time at all, the foliage will begin to recover and generate new growth, both above and below ground. Incidentally, you can plant potatoes again here in northeast Oklahoma, whether above ground, below ground, or in a large container, around the 1st of July. The crop won't be as big, but the flavor will be just as good. When you're through harvesting, be sure to scrub each potato thoroughly to remove any dirt that may harbor disease, and leave them out to dry before storing. Besides tasting great, potatoes are a nutritional gold mine. Here you are, Spencer. This spud's for you. I'm Paul James, Master Gardener for the News on 6, hoping all's green in your garden. Have a safe weekend. We'll see you next week.
If you have any questions for the Gardener Guy, just drop him a note at this address, KOTV, Box 6, Tulsa, Oklahoma, 74101.
A picture, it is said, is worth 1,000 words, and in Camden, Arkansas, it can get you arrested. Police say Skip Heyman stole photography equipment from a local photo store. Well, how do they know that? Well, it seems Mr. Heyman bought in a roll of film for developing at a photo shop where equipment had been stolen 2 months ago. While developing Heyman's pictures, a store employee noticed their stolen equipment in the shots. Police showed the pictures to Heyman's former girlfriend, who gladly identified the background of the pictures as a den in Heyman's house. Police searched the house, found the equipment, and charged Heyman with 2 counts of burglary. Isn't that crazy? Not to mention at least 1 count of stupidity. Why would you take the film back there? How crazy.
Right. We need to go real quickly once again to Jim Giles for a weather update.
And we did just have someone run in and give us the information that a possible tornado is indicated on the ground by spotters in the area 49th West Avenue and Keystone. That's just barely west of town. That storm is rushing into the city of Tulsa. So if you're living in Tulsa County, you should be taking cover. We're looking at velocities, and as it changes from blues into shades of red, the winds are getting stronger and stronger and stronger. We're looking into the Midtown area now from Sheridan Memorial over to about 129th East Avenue. We're seeing winds of 70 and 80 miles per hour rushing through town. It covers virtually the entire area of Tulsa. There is that possibility of a tornado in the western part of Tulsa County moving towards town. If you see any kind of rotation, hear a roar. If you see any very, very large hail in your area, you should take cover immediately. Again, move inside, go to the lowest floor of the house, an inner small room, a bathroom or a closet. If you can get in a tub, stay there until we give you the all clear. A tornado warning is in effect for Tulsa County and the city of Tulsa for the next 30 minutes. Stay tuned. Glenda?
All right. Jim, thank you. We'll take a break now, come back and find out from Jim about the forecast for the weekend.
Mark your calendar now and make sure you're there when 75,000 spectators welcome America's finest amateur athletes to Owen Field in Norman. The night of July 21st will celebrate the start of U.S. Olympic Festival 89 with more pageantry, patriotism, and big-name entertainment than this state has ever seen. Get your opening ceremonies tickets now for just $20, exclusively at Homeland stores throughout Oklahoma.
It's not too late to take your best shot at the Dr. Pepper 3-on-3 basketball tournament, June 10th and 11th. We're closing off the streets downtown, and 3-man teams are taking their best shot at half-court ball. And since we've extended the registration deadline to June 2nd, there's still plenty of time to sign up your team. So grab a couple of friends and head for the hoops. Look for details and registration blanks at all area Arby's and at Dr. Pepper and Bud Light displays. The Dr. Pepper 3-on-3 basketball tournament. It's worth a shot.
And we go back over to the Weather Center now. Jim joins us with a look at what's going on now and what we can expect this weekend. Jim?
Robert? The entire county and city is under a tornado warning for the next 30 minutes, so be advised. There was a possible tornado indicated immediately west of Sand Springs. That was about 15 minutes ago. We've checked with police agencies over there. They say a funnel cloud was reported, also an indication by radar of that possible tornado in the Sand Springs area. It's moving almost due east at about 30-35 miles per hour, so there is that possibility of tornadoes right here in Tulsa. Also, we have, as we're looking at these velocities, winds getting stronger and stronger past Sheridan, Memorial, 129th East Avenue. It's showing winds of 70, even 80 miles per hour. So extremely strong winds passing through the area. Let me show you at this time our current conditions in town. We are looking at cloudy skies with very, very heavy thunderstorms. If the big storms have already moved through your area, you're probably cooler than 81. If they've not yet reached you, you're probably much warmer than 81. 72% relative humidity. We do have a southerly breeze at 15. Even stronger winds, obviously, blowing across town. That's a generality for the area, but you saw on Doppler 6 those extremely strong winds blowing from west to east across town. The barometer is falling. 88 was finally our high, or the highest I've seen today. 63 degrees, our morning low. Let's take a look at this time at our pollen mold spore count, if we can do that. I guess we can't. So let's look again at Doppler radar. We're wiping on a brand new picture. We've just changed from velocities over to rainfall intensities. Now we see even very heavy rains. That's the yellow and orange through the extreme eastern part of Tulsa, the city of Tulsa. Also extremely heavy rains in downtown Tulsa, extending right down towards the Jinx Glenpool area. This extremely heavy rain is also accompanied by large hail and damaging winds. It's quite an evening. Tornado warning is in effect for the city of Tulsa until 5:30. Possibly will have to be extended at that. Let me show you now, there's also a storm watch for the entire region. That storm watching runs until 9 o'clock tonight. It runs basically from about the Miami area right down through Wagner, just this side of Muskogee, through the Eufaula area and on down through the McAllister region, back through the central part of Oklahoma. As far as our satellite picture goes, heavy clouds, this massive storm showing up very well on satellite. Of course, severe weather associated with that mass, 81 here, 83 in Oklahoma City, 86 degrees in McAllister. Low temperatures this morning, generally in the 60s all around, 60 degrees up in Grove, Oklahoma. Rose Stauber's report and forecast for tomorrow, more storms coming up for green country. I hate to tell you that. Here's a look at our forecast now for the evening period. A tornado warning in effect for Tulsa and Tulsa County until 5:30 this evening. Expect severe storms to move through the area, 79 or cooler by 9. For the overnight period, more thunderstorms possible, some likely severe with heavy rainfall, 67 our nighttime low. And for tomorrow morning, we're looking still at a chance of thunder showers, 69 by 9. Tomorrow afternoon should warm up to mid-80s with scattered showers and thunderstorms and still a risk of severe weather tomorrow. Here's our outlook. We're going to drop it to a moderate chance of more thunderstorms on Sunday, 85. Monday, 87. Slight chance of showers or thunderstorms. And as we go into Tuesday, 85 degrees and still that risk of thunderstorms even on Monday, but the chance is going down. Our primary concern right now, those strong damaging winds blowing through the city of Tulsa. There's that indication of a tornado. And again, that was 49th West Avenue and Keystone. Now that was just minutes ago. But we know there's damaging winds and large hail blowing all through the city with extremely heavy rains.
Two things we should clear up. Mike Anderson has the day off. We didn't mention that. And you did not dress up for the severe weather, but for the Stardust Ball this evening. We should point that out.
Right.
Jim, thank you.
If you like to play basketball, today is your last chance to get in on the Dr. Pepper 3-on-3 tournament. We're going from weather here to something completely different, and Paul Jackson is joining us with details. Paul?
That's right, Linda. You know, folks at Catholic Charities say they're going to stay open because registrations are coming in hard and furious. So they'll be open until 6:30 this evening for the Dr. Pepper 3-on-3 folks who haven't registered yet. If you have registered, well, the hard part might be finding a name for your team. Here's what you can expect.
Hard drivers. Today's Computers Business Center hard drivers. Yeah.
Why'd you guys decide to join the Dr. Pepper 3-on-3?
Just it sounded like a good benefit. We wanted to get out and play some basketball, kind of, you know, get out and show our city spirit a little bit.
Suits and ties today, but soon you'll turn into basketball men. Yeah.
Drug your feet.
We're ready.
Now, the backboards and baskets aren't bad at all. There'll be 35 hoops, just like this one, hand-built by students of Tulsa Votech. And playing in the streets, literally hundreds of teams with every level of ball player. He's going to explain the rules.
Let's just have you bring every change of possession, you bring it back out behind the line.
All right.
Okay, any basket inside the circle is 1 point.
Okay.
Outside the circle is 2 points.
Okay.
First team to 15 points, you got to win by 2. You call your own fouls. You call your own out of bounds.
Piece of cake.
Okay?
What happens when one of us goes on the ground?
Well, you just call timeout for emergency aid.
We do have timeouts out here?
That's right.
Okay, who's the lung donor out here? You are? Is that right?
I'm the lung donor.
Okay, very good.
Even if you don't play basketball, this tournament will be a lot of fun to watch.
Nasty wind.
Come on here. Let's get them moving.
And in case you think it's just a bunch of guys goofing off in the middle of the street, guess again. Registration fees for the Dr. Pepper 3-on-3 go to Catholic Charities.
The 3 charities that this is going for Catholic Charities are the Madonna House, which is for homeless women who are either pregnant or have newborn children, newborn babies. It's for St. Elizabeth Lodge, which is for homeless families with little kids, and it's for St. Joseph's Residence, which are for individuals and families afflicted with AIDS. 3 Catholic Charities programs, and of course Meals on Wheels is the 4th agency that's participating in it. So It's all very exciting.
250 teams should be registered, so a huge event. Hopefully the weather will be a little better.
We hope so too. Looking good out there, Paul.
Yes, you and Terry Hadley.
Terry Hadley, yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Still ahead, dogs are not always man's best friend. Cats either.
Wendy Burkeen is up next to tell you how pets can harm your health.
We're only showing you half a picture because Levi's Action Slacks are now on sale for half price, just $14.90 at Burlington Coat Factory. They sell elsewhere for $30, but right now at Burlington Coat Factory, Levi's Action Slacks are half price. Made in the USA, exceptionally comfortable, machine washable too. Levi's Action Slacks, half priced at $14.90. Today through Monday only, and only at Burlington Coat Factory.
With all the demands placed on women today, it's hard to make time for their health. That's why Hillcrest developed the Centers for Women's Health in Tulsa and Broken Arrow. The centers give women a full range of personalized services and programs, a single resource for all your health care needs. But most importantly, the Hillcrest Centers for Women's Health are designed to cater exclusively to the special needs of women. Isn't it nice to know we're here when you need us?
Just talked to the National Weather Service, and they did say that there was a confirmed report of a tornado not long ago. Just moments ago, I reported it to you at 49th West Avenue in Keystone. They tell me, though, there was no damage, that incredibly heavy rains and strong winds of 70 and 80 miles per hour blowing right through Tulsa. This is the city of Tulsa. The streets, there's Peoria, Sheridan, 129th East Avenue. Moving through the downtown area and over to about Sheridan, this last wave of extremely strong winds and very strong heavy rains, possibility of very large damaging hail as well. There's another area of very heavy storms moving into southern Rogers and the extreme northwestern part of Wagner County as well. So be advised, if you live in those areas, there is a risk of tornadoes, but more likely very strong damaging winds, extremely heavy rains, and that large hail. That's it for now. Glenda?
All right, thank you, Jim. And Wendy joins us now with a health report. Wendy?
You need to get your dogs inside with this weather. We're going to talk about dogs and cats and pets. You know, 1 in 3 families in America has a dog. But dogs and even cats sometimes carry parasites that can harm people. It's not a major problem in this country, but worms pose such serious health problems, the Centers for Disease Control is warning people to take precautions. Americans have a great love affair with their pets. But sometimes the thing we love the most can hurt us. That's true of dogs and cats. Virtually all puppies are born with roundworms, worms humans can get. Take a look at the damage hookworms can cause. These parasites migrate through the skin, usually when you step on them or their tiny eggs. Roundworms and hookworms deposit their eggs in dog feces. That makes parks a prime place for infection. The feces contaminates the soil. Children who play in the dirt can ingest the eggs by touching their mouths with their hands.
The people who really are at risk are infants who eat dirt. Literally infants who eat dirt, because that's where they ingest the worms accidentally, or any person who ingests a worm accidentally or worm egg from the yard or from contaminated soil.
and that can lead to serious medical problems.
If a child ingests that because with the contaminated hands, that can result in roundworm disease or the hookworm diseases. And the part that we are worried about is that these worms can go into important organs of the body and can damage those bodies, which resulting in very severe diseases.
Cats can cause other medical problems, such as cat scratch fever, an infection that causes enlarged lymph nodes. But contact with cat feces can cause a rare birth defect.
The pregnant lady who's taking care of the cat litter or taking care of the cats, if they get exposed to toxoplasmosis and they acquire this disease, that disease can result in a congenital form of disease in the newborn baby, and which can be very severe disease.
Physicians and veterinarians are encouraging pet owners to have their pets regularly tested for worms. Dog owners should not allow their pets to foul playgrounds, parks, or public places where children might play. Hand washing before eating can also help prevent infection. Health officials are not trying to discourage people from owning pets, but they say proper hygiene and veterinary care will reduce human infection of worms. In order to avoid toxoplasmosis, expectant mothers should pass that kitty litter, all those kitty litter duties to their husbands.
All right, thank you, Wendy.
Thanks, Wendy.
We'll be back with more on the weather after this.
We've tried a lot of things at Sonic since 1959, and while some things didn't last, one did. Sonic knew that a burger, fries, and soft drink would always be America's most favorite meal. That's why during Sonic's 30th anniversary celebration, we're featuring America's Combo, a made-to-order Sonic burger, fries, and a medium soft drink for a special low price. So enjoy Sonic's anniversary with America's Combo.
Honey, I'm starved.
Coming, dear.
And better than ever.
Hit 'em up! Move 'em up! The drive continues. A massive shipment of 3,600 cars and trucks have just arrived at your Oklahoma Chevy dealers.
Because we're overstocked, we've marked every model with its best price of the year.
Pick the #1 selling full-size truck in Oklahoma. You'll receive all this equipment for only $152, or get automatic at no charge. Choose an S10 now with $500 cash back, and it's priced as low as $69.74. Or get 2.9% financing available on most Chevys. See your Oklahoma Chevy dealer before June 5th.
Coming up on the news at 6, of course, Jim Giles will have the latest on any severe weather. Something is killing fish at the port of Catoosa. Rick Peterson will have details on the investigation. And with the last day of school comes summer vacation, one of Tulsa's biggest tourist attractions, scheduled to open tonight. Jane Mitchell takes us to Discovery Land for a preview.
Don't call me Chief. My name is Hank Storm.
Let me see the money, Chief.
And movie critic Gary Cogill reviews the new movie Renegades. Join us for these stories and more tonight at 6.
Now let's go back to Jim Giles for an update on the weather. Jim?
Robert, we're still looking at that extremely severe storm moving through the city of Tulsa. The heaviest now has moved out of downtown Tulsa, central part of Tulsa. This is about the Sheridan Memorial area, 129th East Avenue, then moving into the southwestern part of Rogers County and northwestern part of Wagner County. Severe storms moving into those areas. I think we have some video at this time of some of that very heavy rain and storminess that moved through town. Winds of 70 and 80 miles per hour showing up on Doppler 6 radar. Just talked to the folks out at the National Weather Service. They say they've had winds clocked to 70 and a little more. Also, there was a report of a tornado that touched down 49th West Avenue in Keystone. It's about a mile west of that area of Gilcrease region. We've been in touch, though, with the Sheriff's Department. They tell us no damage there. They've had no confirmed reports of tornado damage in the area, but do anticipate extremely heavy winds, heavy rains, and large hail. It'll be pushing through town and affecting our neighbors off to the east, starting now and probably for the next 3 or 4 hours. We'll be monitoring that severe weather. Robert?
All right, thank you, Jim. How quickly that stuff moves in and just takes over, I tell you. Well, before we go away, we want to tell you a little bit about something that Glenda and I will be involved in this weekend, the Children's Miracle Network Telethon, to be aired here on Channel 6, benefiting, of course, Children's Medical Center. We will be live from Woodland Hills Mall starting
10:45, I believe.
Tomorrow night, and going all day on Sunday.
Be at Woodland Hills Mall. We'll be delighted to have you come out and join us. And if you can't come out to the mall, we'd love to see you out there. Some more Channel 6 folks will be with us.
Right.
Bob Stevens, who is never at a loss for words. Robert and I are glad to have him join us. Kim Graham, Terry Hood.
Also, Mike Anderson will be out at Big Splash, so if you've got Big Splash in your plans this weekend, Mike will be out there with a fishbowl, and you can go out there and drop money in there. So lots of ways to get involved, and throughout the many, many hours, we will be telling you much about CMC, so we hope you'll join us. Before we go away tonight, we do want to check back in with Jim for one last word on the weather. Jim?
Yes, we also had reports of 800 to 1,000 people without power, and it's centered somewhere around the Yale and Archer area. There have been funnel clouds reported around town, the northwest part of the city, over around Sand Springs. We're going to keep an eye on this. Severe storms moving through town and off just to the west of us right now. For the next 3 or 4 hours, we'll be dealing with severe weather.
All right.
Of course, you'll be back with an update at 6. If anything drastic before then, we'll break into CBS News.
I guarantee it.
Great.
Thank you, Jim. Everybody be careful tonight.
Yeah.
That's the 5 o'clock report for this Friday. The CBS Evening News is next. I'll see you back here at 6.
And I'll see you tomorrow night on the Children's Miracle Network Telethon. Until then, have a good evening. Good night.
This is the CBS Evening News. I'm